when it comes to the term, when I ask students about the term, usually they will say no, because sometimes the terminologies, the term, yeah, are used are very alien. But then it is actually, when it comes to contextual clues, they are actually um, the formation of context. Okay, if you notice that context would be like setting, within the scope, talking about the scope. It talks about, I mean, the same field, the same what we call development from the same domain. It can be domain setting, right? Clues would be the hints, the information, provide you with details regarding certain things, giving the clues. Yeah, it's not like sometimes clues, they, I mean, when it comes to clues, they are not given to you like, okay, this is what it is. Clues usually it's something given to you, but it's for you to figure out what it is actually. All right, so the same thing, if you merge the formation of the word contextual clue or context clues, all right, they actually words that you can find the meaning within the it can be within the paragraph, or it can be within the passage, all right, but usually it can be within the sentence itself. So you don't have to uh, it's not that you don't have to work hard, no, but you will know instantly if you get one word where to refer to. Usually you look into the sentence, the one particular sentence where the word is presented, and sometimes it can be before the word, before the sentence before, or the sentence after. Okay, they linger around usually the same paragraph lah. It's very rare that it is all over in the passage, but then it's not impossible. So it sometimes it depends on the author as well, but usually they are within the sentence or nearer the sentences that are nearer to them. Okay. So I've given you this, yeah. So context clues, you use the clues given. So when it comes to guessing, I think all of us always do this, yeah. Especially when it comes to reading, not just the academic reading. When we have novels, novel, for example, we don't really refer to dictionary. I mean, it's not really common to have a dictionary next to you. Okay, but if you find that the word is very hard and you find the word is very useful, and it provide you the main idea, it carries the main idea of the context, only then you refer to the dictionary, right? So before you refer to the dictionary, what we always do is we try to guess first. If let's say towards the end you still don't get what's the meaning of the word, only then we go to dictionary, go for dictionary. The longer the text, the longer the passage, the less chance or tendency that we are going to refer to the dictionary, because the thick, the more information that it is required to understand, it's sometimes require more time to focus rather than to refer to one specific word. Okay. So it is very useful. Now you know that, oh, I always do this. It's just that I don't know. It is actually called contextual clues. Now I know there are contextual clues. There are a few ways of doing it. Okay, there are a few ways to get the meaning. We can look into definition. We can look into example. We can look into synonym, contrast. Sometimes you call it contrast. Sometimes you call it opposite word. Sometimes we call it antonym. Yeah. So they have several names. Yeah. So substitute, we're going to look into clues from another sentence. So usually if we don't know how to substitute, we're going to get some clues from another sentence. Yeah, substitute usually if you have a wide range of vocabulary, only then you will go for substitute. So definition, this one is very you some. I mean, most of the time, this is what we will have lah, especially when it comes to academic reading, where when you read, I think the most common would be in subjects like ethnic subject, codes, yeah, courses, what we call Malaysian educational codes lah, courses. So when you read, it says that kemerdekaan adalah blah, 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 blah. So that is definition. It provides you a lengthy of explanation, and that the explanation is actually providing you the definition of the word when you read. Okay, another example would be, let's say if you, like the one that you had just now. Um, Here. Okay, context clues consist of words in a sentence or paragraph that enable. Sometimes it doesn't really like specifically say that contextual clues are the words. Sometimes it can be manipulated, consists of, but this is actually the definition. It provides you the definition so that you will understand what's the meaning of the word. All right. Okay, so they can be restating of the word. Restating, it means that further explanation. You don't expect definition comes in one word in exchange to another word. So if you have one word to another word, so that is not definition. That will be another part of the way of defining later. Contextual clues. Okay, so if let's say you have this sentence, while planning the party, Susan was prudent with the guest list, acting with great caution and care not to invite anyone with whom she wouldn't want to jump around the in a bounce house. So if you have this sentence, okay, the first thing that you will ask, okay, let's say you don't understand, okay, prudent. So what prudent means? What does prudent mean? So you will, okay, you're going to look into the sentence where you can extract the word from. Usually we focus on this first, right? And who is being prudent? So here it is subject. Another subject will be Susan. So with what? The guest list. So you want to guess the word prudent. So you don't need to really know what prudent means, because looking into the behavior itself, when you look and you read, you know that Susan is acting with great caution and care. So this is what prudent means. So prudent is acting with great caution and care. So it is a definition. This is a definition, because as I said, it's not given like one word and exchange to another word. So it is like an explanation. Examples. There are some times that author do not provide you with definition, but they give you the examples, right? So the examples will be sometimes the sub parts. If let's say the word that you need to define would be color, so the example will be red, black, blue. See the examples. All right. So this is very similar to finding the definition. It is given in the sentence itself usually, and they are clues. Sometimes if you are lucky, they provide the word like example, such as um, for example, such as for instance. But in this example, the one I gave you, Devin procrastinated to avoid his homework all day, watching TV, playing video games, and even writing thank you cards to his grandparents. So we want to know, what is procrastination? What is procrastinate, right? So usually, when it comes to your test, okay, for whatever topic that I'm teaching, what I teach you in class, I'm going to go back and forth to your test. I know that this is specifically, not specifically for the test purpose only. It is for you to be to apply in your life, in your your study in future. But then the short term goal is for the test, so that's why I go back and forth. Yeah. So Devin procrastinate. So in text usually they take exactly from the text. Here it just highlighted on procrastinate, but then if it's in a test, usually they take exactly from the text procrastinated. Why? Because we want to test students' understanding. All right. So this is when we have like ed after Devin. Devin is a noun. So usually what explains noun would be it can be, I mean, nouns usually shows a noun shows action. So action words would be verbs. So verbs can include in different various form. It can be various form, present tense, past tense. So ed indicates past tense. See, this is how we want your students to relate. So for the meaning later, okay, whether it is I mean, any meanings that you can get, please make sure that you keep the form of the word. If it's ed plus ed, so you have to plus ed. Okay. So in this case, procrastinate. Uh, in this context, it's the hint is not given. I mean, the clues, context word, the word clue, the what we call uh, cohesive devices that show the clue of transition, whether it is to differentiate, or example is not given. But then you know that there is a list of actions that indicates or provide further explanation on the word procrastinate, which is watching TV, watching TV, playing video games, and even writing thank you card. So we know that these are the examples. So in order for you, to avoid, okay, procrastinated to avoid his homework. I think another clue would be to avoid. Avoid means you try to hinder from doing. Right? So here the word is delay or put off. All right? Actually, you don't have to plus ing. Okay, because the instruction asks you to have like procrastinate, so delay or put off. All right. So next, synonym. S would be same. As for me, I always confuse synonym and antonym. So synonym as same, so same meaning. If antonym A, anti, okay, anti. Usually we are against anti-vaccine, uh, those who are anti-vaccine, anti-smoking, those words, anti or anti, they considered, you are going against these people, so that is antonym. Synonym same, sama nama, same, okay, so same name, synonyms, right? Okay, so like the name itself, it provides you with the same meaning. Okay, for example, Mark wanted to impress his date with the dinner he prepared. The massive ice sculpture centerpiece he made with a chainsaw between courses was just superfluous, extra, and unnecessary. So there's a comma providing you with, and another part will be extra and unnecessary. Yeah, so superfluous. So here you can refer to two words, two antonyms. Synonyms. So it can be extra or it can be unnecessary. If you give both, the mark still be given the same, right? So that the meaning is given here in synonym, right? Sometimes they are given two words, but then one is really a synonym to the word given, like superfluous. Another word would be sometimes is just the explanation or further adjective, an adjective further elaborating on the word. So you have to be extra careful. Yes, sometimes author can write something that is a bit what we call a bit confusing. Kan, especially when it comes to the test, we don't want to make things simple for you, so we give you two, but then actually only one of these two words is actually the synonym. So you have to really be careful, understand the context given. Okay, all right, so the next part will be contrast. Contrast is actually the opposite, the antonym here of the meaning of the word. The author includes a word or phrase that is opposite of the word whose meaning you are trying to figure out. So you need to look for it, okay? But like the other like example just now, sometimes there are words, signals for you to indicate whether this is a contrasting, a contrast clues, like but, however, on the other hand, nevertheless, yet, in contrast, and some others. Yeah. Okay, so if you get these words, you should highlight, and you need to keep in your mind that the word given is actually the opposite. Okay. All right. So opposite words. So man can be women, Democrats, Republicans, ancient. It can be modern, ancient or traditional, versus modern. All right. Okay. Here, Priscilla is so humble and modest that she could never be called haughty. All right. See. is so humble that she could never, the word could never is actually showing a contradicting. Okay, contradicting, all right? So, opposite of humble and modest. So that is what is humble, right? So humble would be arrogant. The opposite of humble would be arrogant. Modest would be pretentious. So like what I said, the two of them are just the hint, but you need to somehow manipulate the hints or the clues given. Okay. All right. It might take us some time, quite some time. It is very common if we read and we get, for example, the synonyms or antonyms in the context. The thing about it is, even the synonyms or the antonyms are not understood by us. So how to guess? Kan? So that's why students end up going to the dictionary. I mean, refer to the dictionary. It is understood. This is not our first language, kan? It's just that the thing about referring to the dictionary is you really need to relate with the context. Okay, because this is, we are still having COVID-19 ODL classes. So tests will still be online tests. So we cannot stop students from referring to the dictionary. It's just that you need to really be wise when it comes to matching the meaning, okay, from the words given in the dictionary with the ones that you, I mean, the context in the passage. Okay. All right. Substitute. This one is replacing one word to another. If let's say there's no definition, there's no example, there is no antonym, synonym. So it goes back to the traditional way of guessing, which is we try to replace, mix and match the word with the ones that we are having in our background uh, vocabulary. Okay, so this one, okay, as you might expect, the acid that burned a hole in the table also has deleterious fumes. So we want to know what is deleterious fume, deleterious. So we know that deleterious here, so we need to identify what form is it. Fumes, okay, fumes would be noun. We know that it is a thing, fumes, okay, smells, fumes, yeah, fumes. So this is a noun. So word that explain nouns would be adjective. Right? Adjective explains noun, but usually noun shows action after nouns. Usually it comes with verb. Okay, so this is before. So usually before it is related to adjective because it explains the noun. All right. And we want to know whether this one is so is there any clues when we read this? We only have, as you might expect, okay, as you might expect, the acid that burn. So the items or the words here would be acid, the word burnt, and a hole in the table. So you know that, okay, when you guess this, we know that deleterious is not something that is pleasant, something that is positive. Because of the word acid, we know that acid is something that is can cause, damage. Yeah, can cause damage to us. All right, especially when there's a hole caused by the acid, the spill of the acid. So definitely this is not something that is positive. So we move to the negative word. We are looking for a negative word. So the fumes are probably causing harm, dangerous or danger. Okay, so harmful, dangerous or harmful can replace the word deleterious. So if you change the word here, harmful, as you might expect, the acid that burned a hole in the table also has harmful fumes. Okay, um, so if let's say you have made your guess, only then you can double confirm the meaning in the dictionary. If let's say you go straight to your dictionary, you might won't get it. Yeah, you can have to go as far as going to look for thesaurus. But again, when you have a list of words, you need to go to one by one of the word so that you can get the meaning, understand each and every word I mean words that is related to the how the meaning, because not all of the words can be suitable to replace the word. Okay. All right. So clues from another sentence. Oh, let's say no example, no what we call, you don't have substitute, you don't have that sorry, you don't have contrast or antonym, you don't have synonym, you don't have definition, you don't have example, and you are, I think I'm not good at replacing, my vocab is very narrow, I have a very small collection of vocabulary. So maybe what you can do is, okay, let's try clues from another sentence. So in this case, you need this one is what I mentioned earlier, that you can go beyond one sentence, maybe the previous sentence or maybe the sentence after, and it could be the whole passage or it can be the whole paragraph. Yeah, but in this sense, it's quite dangerous because the definition can be vary. VARY, vary means that so many, I mean different, they can be different. Yeah, and especially not within the scope. Right, so this one would be reserved as the last choice. Okay, if let's say you don't have any other choices.